Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favourite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. In this episode, we're catching up with Luke Stronach, who's a CSO of Arkana Energy. Hello, Luke.
Hello, Rosh. How's it going?
Mate, very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Yes, doing well.
Very good. Which one are you? Are you an industry expert, a tech specialist, or one of our favourite TV and radio personalities?
Let's go. I don't know.
All the above?
A snippet of all of them. I don't like to I'm an expert at anything really. So let's, No,
you're
been breathing the industry now for a good couple of years. So yeah, the solar coaster is real.
Absolutely. Look, obviously, I've known you for a very long time, as well as Arkana Energy and your brother Tyson. I mean, how did Arkana actually start? Where did it come from?
My brother started it 8 or 9 years ago, a company called GT Trade Solutions. So he was just an installer, but very much had a sort of a business mindset and wanted to get off the roofs. So about 6 years ago now, he transitioned into more of a sales and marketing engine and installation engine, which was Arkana. The name he stole from my grandfather that named his property at Musselbrook, and the name means boomerang. So it's family company, family name. And he liked the sort of the reference to sort of a cyclical nation of a boomerang. So that's where it came from. Started.
Mate, very good. Look, one thing that that my clients, I mean, obviously we supply you guys with consumer leads. People want to go and get solar power. And one bit of feedback I've always had is just how easy it is to work with Arkana Energy inside of customer service, just approach. Obviously, there's a number of different things that will differentiate you from your competitors. But if I was to ask you just to highlight 3 of them, what would they be?
Yeah, I think you nailed on one, and it's really hard to know what everyone's doing in the market. But we are trying to put the customer at the center of the circle, looking at solar as the first pillar, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more later on, but just looking at sort of what else do they need to do to go down that, road to zero, and solar is step 1. It's very much, so we are, aiming to look after the customer for a long time. Our goal is to be in business for many years and, create a better future for our kids, and for the kids of Australia. So that's one, I guess you could say we care. And we've sort of got that long-term mindset.
Yeah.
You said 3.
Come on, mate, give me 2 more.
I think in our industry, we are very much considering the future. So if you look at the digital sphere, I sort of started off in digital 15 years ago. And, everything was about Google. And then it transitioned into, Facebook launched and, ads were on Facebook. And now there's that many different channels. It's ridiculous. So I think the same thing's going to happen in the renewable space. So we've had solar, batteries on its way, EVs on its way. So we're very much looking at sort of what do we need to build this company to be like over the next 5 years, and mainly to give the customers the solution they need. So forward thinking. And finally, we want to have fun along the way. So we try and have a great time and push that out with our brand tagline is positive energy, and we try and live and breathe that. So we have a lot of fun. We treat our staff well, and try to do the same with our customers as well.
Well, I think that's probably why we get on so well. We're probably at the same level of maturity. And I can see obviously you're supporting November there as well. That's going very well. Look at that.
Yeah. We've got about sort of 15 or 20 of the company doing it at the moment, just raising funds. So it's a good cause.
And I'm sure your wife Sarah is a massive advocate for it as well. The cause, not the mow.
I told her it's her Christmas present, so it's going to hang around for longer than just November, I think.
Mate, if you could get some solar panels installed around it, you can have a fully sustainable mow.
I haven't started in now, but it is quite good. Anyhow,
no, you've done very good job. Look, I think obviously we've known you guys for a long, long time, and look, we're delighted to include you and have you involved in Renovate and Rebuild. It's just finished airing on Nine Life a couple of weeks ago. We'll be airing again on the main network in January, which is fantastic on Channel 9. I mean, once again, just having you guys on the show just really demonstrated to us, how you have the same sort of mindset as Energy Matters, all about zero carbon future. We've all got family, we've all got kids. And for us, it's really, really important to plan ahead and to, at least, sort of help us make the planet a little bit better just from by being a contribution. So before we get stuck into that and a bit more stuff around zero carbon, I'd just like to quickly play a little segment. And this is why I considered you to be a TV star, mate. Just this little segment alone demonstrates that.
You guys have a lovely home and it's very big and spacious. So does it cost a lot to heat and cool this place?
Yeah, we've obviously got the fireplace for some heating in winter, but it takes some time to stoke the fire. So we put in, when we renovated, ducted air conditioning across the entire house. That runs in winter here a lot. So we spend about $800 to $1,000 a quarter on our energy. We put solar on not long after we got here, which reduced our energy usage considerably. You can probably see behind us, we put on 34 Hyundai solar panels and wiped out our bill entirely, which is awesome.
That was fantastic.
Well done. There was a segment, as you know, just with Sarah speaking, but I got rid of that and just had you on there.
This is the anti-Sarah segment.
No, I mean, Sarah's is very articulate and she presents incredibly well. But this is you. This is you're featuring on
More so than me, but yeah.
No, good work, mate. That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, with the Renovate and Rebuild itself, I mean, what did you take from the show? I mean, obviously, you've watched the whole season there. What are your thoughts on it, and what did you take from it?
Yeah, aside from being, a lot of fun to film and participate in, so thank you for that. Just the whole message behind it, and I don't want to sound cheesy or on brand. You've named the podcast Road to Zero, but I think it's going to be a big push and a big amount of effort to take all of Australia on a journey. And it's going to be things like Renovate to Rebuild that is going to sort of change the mindset of Australians sitting at home watching TV. It's going to be lots of shows like that is going to actually help us to sort of electrify everything. So it's one of the first shows that's really trying to have a good purpose behind it, which I love.
No, beautiful, mate. That's fantastic. That definitely was the goal. So let's get stuck into a little bit more stuff around the industry itself. I mean, as a business, there has been a lot of changes to the industry. I mean, COVID certainly has had an impact on everyone's life and every industry around the world. Solar power, unfortunately, was also, and renewable energy in this country was also affected by COVID. I mean, what challenges would you say you're facing as a business right now in this industry?
There's still a lot. I think we're through the COVID. Look, COVID's not going to go away for a few years, but we did have to be nimble to survive through it. And then, new things keep rearing their heads. So at the moment, obviously, everyone's experiencing supply issues, especially coming out of China. So just securing stock between now and sort of February. It seems to be easing a bit and prices seem to be stabilizing, but they have hiked significantly. Yeah. We're trying not to pass those on to customers as well. So it's just that balance of sort of pricing and making sure that we do have stock, especially with the deadline of STCs coming into play as well. So that's on the solar side. The battery side is we've been ramping up battery sales significantly, mainly driven by customer demand. And whether or not that is a benefit of COVID and people sort of have that sort of end of the world mentality, but whatever it is, batteries are starting to get pushed harder and harder, which is only a good thing. It also could be the drive of EVs and more people pushing into that market as well. But there's, similar to back in the day in solar land and other industries, there's been a supply issue. So now, trying to get a Tesla battery is, it might be a couple of month wait list, for example.
Gotcha.
We're trying to get volumes and build a team around driving battery sales to existing customers. But we are held up on growing that team just due to supply.
And that's been one of the key things we've been communicating with a lot of our manufacturing partners is, the demand's there. There's certainly orders coming through left, right, and centre, but it's just being able to, A, get onto a boat in the first place, or B, just it's getting held up at manufacturing. So there literally, there are a lot of issues going on right now.
Yeah. The other one would be obviously just the change in the energy market and the energy retailers and the pricing and the feed-in tariffs, and it's a washing machine of challenges, but change or die, I guess.
Absolutely. And look, I know we're all crying for some cohesive change and strategy, and to help to facilitate a zero carbon future. And obviously everything at COP26, there's been a lot of not controversy, but a lot of disappointment with our federal government inside of what's not being done. And
Yes.
any thoughts, political thoughts on that, Luke?
Look, I think there's a lot of strong personalities in the market, and whether or not, look, I don't agree with what the Australian government or a lot of governments are doing there. They're putting more effort into COVID than they are the climate emergency. I know there's a lot of catchphrases flying around, but let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And I think we and that's why I like to renovate or rebuild. We as a nation or as a people, it feels like if you're trying to take matters into your own hands, you can't do anything. But if everyone, there are solutions out there that if we all do some small things, that we can have a massive impact. One article that we're actually going to build our sort of mission around, and we've been trying to distill it over the last couple of years. Have you read it? It's called Cars and Castles Rewiring Australia by Saul Griffith. You know that one?
Okay. I haven't, but I will.
I'll send it over to you. And he just articulates how much we can use current solar battery EV technology to reach the goals that were outlined in what country were they in? Belgium? Switzerland. I should know.
I'll go with it.
So there's some really good stats in there, and we're ignoring what the government's doing and going to try and push people to take responsibility themselves, households and businesses, and try to reach the goal without them.
Good man. And look, and fundamentally, I think that's really where industry and state government have got to. I mean, it's been incredible actually to see how quickly state government has jumped behind and pushed net zero, more so than the federal, which is obviously the kind of what's keeping things not being cohesive and not really flying as well as it should do. So it's good to see. But on EVs and batteries, I mean, a lot of the inquiries that we have coming through from consumers looking to go renewable are no longer just asking about panels. They are asking for batteries. They're not, we don't have any way of requesting an EV car right now because it's really outside of our mandate to be able to generate leads for manufacturers, for car manufacturers. But I think from a consumer perspective, certainly batteries is something everybody is asking for. I mean, in your opinion, based on today, would you say batteries are worth it?
What's the goal? Cash?
Well,
the financial return?
Well, I think if we're looking at it from a financial return on investment, no. But really, it's, or in some cases, maybe.
It's not always no, and it just depends how. Like for example, if someone was had still a decent sized power bill, their feed-in tariffs were reducing significantly. They were feeding, their solar was a decent size, and they had enough solar, or they had enough roof space to put on more solar to therefore then charge a battery, and they were considering going an electric vehicle as well. With the right, and energy retailers are catching up as well, with VPP plays, etc. in market, their batteries are becoming more affordable. in a lot of cases, and I'm not saying this is for everyone right now, but for the right customer, you can get a 5-year ROI on a battery.
Yeah.
So it's close. It's close. And we're selling it.
Well, the fact is you are, yeah, and it really becomes an affordability question. I mean, return on investment, affordability, sometimes, worlds apart, right? But if you can afford to, and once again, with yourselves personally, I mean, one thing that you guys do incredibly well is offer a range of payment options. So it's not a case of saying, hey, look, can you guys just pay up front of cash, because not everyone has that sort of money put aside. I believe there are a number of different payment options to make going renewable and including batteries as part of that solution affordable.
Definitely. And if you there are options out there now that are separate home loans, and we'll talk about those in a moment, that you can get finance for these sorts of products over 10 years, which is also coincidentally the warranty on the products as well. And
yes.
If you look at that, you're actually, in most cases, it's actually cheaper to go a battery now than it would be not go a battery if you finance it over 5 years. And you look at a 7-8 year ROI. But if you do size everything correctly and consider the whole equation, you can get that return on investment under 5 years. And there's a lot of good, finance plans where you shouldn't be out of pocket from day one to go a battery. So it's starting to make sense. What I do like is what the Commonwealth Bank's doing. And I'm sure other sort of banking institutions are looking at it, where they're allowing customers to put a renewable solution on their house, bolt it onto their home loan, next to no interest rate, put it over the life of the home loan. You won't even notice it. It will reduce. And if you then took those energy savings and paid off your home loan, you can probably pay your house off a couple of years faster.
Wow.
Doing something like that. So that's cool. And I hope that all of the, Big Four and all of the sort of second, third tier lenders eventually allow you to bolt renewable solutions onto their home loans.
I mean, once again, then it makes it an absolute no-brainer. And adding batteries to your, if you have, once again, as you said, if you've got enough roof space in the first place to be able to sufficiently store a battery and create enough generation to power your home at night time, early morning, I mean, that home's net zero. I mean, that home's on the road to being zero carbon, right? So if you can reduce all the electricity you need throughout the entire day, you're zero carbon. So it's an absolute no-brainer. And as you've identified, I mean, to get the level of support, especially from the banking sector, is probably one of the missing links. Right now it's been a case of that affordability. Well, how much am I going to pay in interest on this particular loan?
Well, yeah, with how long the products last, it doesn't make sense to pay for them up front. It makes perfect sense to bolt it onto a home loan. Because it is part of the home, it adds value to the home. And, if you can extend your home loan, you will be saving money from day dot. You should be able to get your energy bill to zero or below zero, which is exciting.
No, that's beautiful, mate. I love it. And I mean, obviously, you guys primarily, I mean, you're all over Australia. I mean, Queensland is a strong market for you, as is New South Wales and Victoria. I mean, what sort of rebates and incentives are available right now that you're, particularly your sales guys and your team, is recommending to customers?
There's all the standard ones. Obviously, Victoria has additional rebates, but slightly less SDC, so government rebates. We obviously push all of those. A lot of those change over at the end of this month, coming into next year, but we are hoping that the federal government brings out, especially some battery rebates in the near future, would be a game changer. The other ones that we're looking at are sort of rebates driven by companies such as Energex, where they're rewarding customers for putting in monitoring devices associated with things such as ducted air conditioning, pool pumps, those sorts of things. So you can get sort of $400, $200, etc., for putting on something like a carbon tracker or a G Switch. And in those cases, it basically covers the cost of them, but it can reduce your energy usage down an extra sort of, I think 20% the average. Okay. So yeah, there's some interesting things out there at the moment.
Very good, mate. Very good. And in terms of, moving towards zero carbon future, I mean, solar power is obviously a massive part towards that. But what other small changes can people, sort of make day to day to move towards that?
Yeah, I like the mantra. If people can take on the mantra 100% upgrade with green. So if you're looking to buy a new car, within 12 months, there'll be a range of EVs out there that are more and more affordable, starting probably at that $35,000 price point. That if we start looking at all of our appliances and being mindful of, our own carbon footprint, and with the view of within 3 years, 5 years, upgrading our gas, upgrading our cars, and making sure that all of our appliances are as energy efficient as possible. A, we'll save more money, but B, we can proudly then say that, we've done our part.
No, that's fantastic.
Everyone's done their part with the vaccination. We might as well do it with climate.
Absolutely. And I think what the most frightening things are, a lot of people say, well, I can't get solar power, so that's me done. But that's just, that's just part of it. I mean, reuse, recycling, there's just so many small things anyone can do day to day that if they were to do so, would make a massive difference. And it's just a small change.
I agree. The problem is pollution on the whole. But yeah, the sector that we're trying to focus on, because it is such a big problem, is energy. And individuals, can make a difference if they just focus on the small things that they can do.
Beautiful stuff, mate. I love it. And for Arkana Energy, I mean, firstly, are there any sustainability sort of programs that you guys are running yourselves?
Not programs. We're sort of definitely aligning with that article I mentioned. We are setting a goal. So the goal that was outlined in that is that 67,000 Australian households need to electrify everything in their house for us to reach the goals by 2030 as a nation. So Australia, domestically, the domestic carbon outputs in Australia are 42%, I believe is the number, done domestically, and the rest is other. So, collectively at home, we can make a big impact, and we want to see ourselves to transition to be the enabler of that. I think listening to this conversation, you can see like it's all simple in theory, but we're deep in this industry, and Bob and Mary at home, they just want to put some solar on and set and forget, and they don't want to worry about feed-in tariffs and all the other jargon and paraphernalia that goes on with the industry. So we want to be sort of the enabler and the partner of these households, review what's happening every 6 months. Have they put in a pool? Have their kids left home? Have they had a baby? What's changing? And sort of guide them along the process. So that's one key goal. The other that we're trying to implement is actually through businesses. So we want to look in our own backyard to start with, make sure that we replace everything that we have that isn't green with green, eventually including trucks as soon as they come out. But then also incentivize our staff to do the same. So have set incentives on an annual basis, up to $10,000 per staff member, where they can go on a green journey, whatever it might be, upgrade their appliances, EV car repayments, battery, solar, those sorts of things as well. Once we've then proven that blueprint, we want to start pushing that out to businesses, B Corp style businesses that care, and sort of give them something that they can actually tangibly do. So that's a bit of the mission.
Very, very exciting, Luke.
Yeah.
Very inspiring as well, mate. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Got to start somewhere, and also expand geographically. Like we're mainly servicing coast of New South Wales and sort of southeast Queensland at the moment, and some Victoria. But just expanding that footprint will help us to achieve our goals.
No, fantastic. Well, you're certainly on the right track, and as I said, the feedback we've received from consumers we've referred to Arkana Energy have been very positive. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen or ever read a review that wasn't incredible. So you've probably seen a few that were.
I guess going back to points of difference, I think I worked out the other day that we spend nearly $50,000 a month rectifying issues and just things happening with people's solar, and we're doing hundreds of installations a month. So these are, but if someone has an issue 2 or 3 years down the track, we'll go in, we'll fix it. And that's why customers don't post bad reviews, because we're there, we help, and things happen. But infrequently. I make it sound like it's a lot, but
no, but they do. I mean, there's a number of different variables that can cause that as well, right? Not just
yeah, it's mostly not our fault, but we just get in there and fix it.
No, good man. Well, look, thank you very much for your time today, Luke. I do appreciate it. You've been an absolute legend. Very inspired by your goals and your vision for Arkana Energy as well. So we're very excited to see those playing out. I will be reading that article, and we'll post the link to it on the on this as well, so everyone can sort of read up to.
Vice versa. The road to zero.
The road to zero, indeed. Okay, guys. So look, before we finish up, just remind everybody that you can get 3 quotes if you haven't got solar power ready. You can get free quotes and a free energy bill comparison via our website, energymatters.com.au. Please make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Luke, thank you very much. Arkana Energy, guys. Check out Arkana's website, and by all means, go to them directly for a quote, but really come to us as well. Luke, all the best. We can't wait to see you on the next TV show.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rosh.
All the best. Thanks, mate. See you.